Good evening, a warm welcome to State of Business, RTV's Primetime Business News Bulletin, and I'm Rukshi Panditaratna. Let's take a look at the headlines first. President tells authorities to toughen laws to avoid entry of disease carriers and usage of drones to be regulated. And today on Top Stories, President Maithripala Sirisena says Sri Lanka should streamline visa regulations to avoid people infected with various diseases entering the country. The President expressed this view addressing an event in Colombo today.
The Dental Institute has now transformed into a 10-storied building complex with ultra-modern facilities. The construction work of this facility was started in 2010 and the government has spent over 1 billion rupees to build it. President Maithripala Sirisena was the chief guest at the inauguration ceremony.
ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන් රටට ඇතුල්වීම සහ පිටවීම කියන කටයුතු වලදී මූලික ලෙස දැනට වඩා පැමිණෙන අයගේ සෞඛ්‍ය තත්ත්වය පිළිබඳව වීසා දීමේදී අපි යම් දැනට වඩා නීති රීතිවල දැඩි බවක අවශ්‍යතාවය මම දකිනවා. ඒ මොකද අපි දන්නවා ළඟ තිබෙන අපේ කලාපය තුල තිබෙන රටවල් කීපයකින් දෛනිකව එන විශාල ජනතාවක් ඇතැම් අය උදේ එනවා හවසට යනවා. මේ තත්ත්වය තුල සෞඛ්‍ය ශාස්ත්‍රයට අභියෝගයක් තිබෙන බව අපි දන්න දෙයක්. මේක අද ඊයේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් නොවේ. නමුත් දැන් මේ තත්ත්වය වැඩි වෙලා තිබෙනවා. එක් පැත්තකින් රෝග සෞඛ්‍යයට ගැටලුවක්, අනිත් පැත්තෙන් මත්ද්‍රව්‍ය පිළිබඳව ප්‍රශ්නයක්.
The usage of drones to be regulated. Accordingly, Civil Aviation Authority of Sri Lanka has introduced implementing standards for pilotless aircraft or drones. The implementing standards for drones are enforced under the provisions of Section 80 of the Civil Aviation Act. According to the implementing standards, a person or an organization with appropriate expertise in the operation of a drone should be registered with the Civil Aviation Authority. The registered media institutions can obtain approval on an event basis for a fee of around 3,700 rupees per event. The new standards have also made the drone operators to obtain the clearance from the local police in the area before operating a drone. The drones, which are less than 200 grams in weight, could be operated without approval for recreational and educational purposes.
Suppose there's an event where a free enthusiast, as a citizen of the country, in the same manner one would go and capture a photograph through the digital camera or whatever. Any citizen should be having the provision of using it, but it has to be. It's a drone after all. That if it is a drone that citizen is going to use, of course he has to be within the legal framework of having himself registered and obtain the approval. With regard to the deposit, one concern that bothers our minds is having a deposit might be misunderstood or misinterpreted as a blanket approval.
අපි බැලුවා මේක මේ ඇත්තෙන් මේක ඩෙෆිනිෂන් එක පොඩ්ඩක් වෙනස් කරලා මේක අපේ වගකීමක් නෙවෙයි පොලිසිය වගකීමක් කියලා පොලිසියට පවරන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා. මොකද මේ ඒ තරම්ම මේක සංකීර්ණයි. මොකද අපිට ඊටාම සුළු කාර්ය මණ්ඩලයක් ඉන්නේ. 100 මම හිතන්නේ අපේ ඉන්නේ ඔක්කොම 62යි දෝදේ. එතකොට මේ 162ක් ඉන්න ආයතනයක නිලධාරීන් උදවලා මේ කළමනාකරණය කිරීමේ දැඩි ගැටලුවක් තියෙනවා.
Minister S.P. Disanayaka expressed views on the central bank bond scam at a media conference in Colombo today. The minister stressed the CBSL bond scam was a daylight robbery.
තම අවාසනාවන්ත විදිහට දූෂණය වංචාව හොරකම මේවා ගැන කතා කරලා යහ පාලනය ගැන කතා කරලා ආණ්ඩුව පිහිටවපු ගම ශ්‍රී ලංකා මහ බැංකුව තුල සිද්ධ වෙච්ච දැවැන්ත මුදල් මංකොල්ලේ ඒක බරපතල හොරකමක්. දැන් මේ පිළිබඳව ජනාධිපති කොමිසමක් පත් කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒ නිසා ජනාධිපති කොමිසම හරහා මේ සිද්ධිය මෙවැනි සිද්ධියක් නැවත ඇති නොවෙන්න ඒ වැරදිකරුවන් නීති රැහන්ට අල්ලගන්න අවශ්‍ය සියලු කටයුතු කරගෙන.
Let's take a look at more news after this break. Welcome back. Public Utilities Commission today issued guidelines to the Ceylon Electricity Board and Lanka Electricity Company to pay interest on security deposits of electricity consumers which CEB and LECO receive when providing an electricity connection. The PUCSL said that the electricity consumers are entitled to receive a payment for the security deposits under the Section 28 of Electricity Act No. 20 of 2009. It describes the distribution licensee, the CEB or LECO, to pay interest on such sum of money at the rate approved by the PUCSL. Accordingly, the interest payment on security deposit of the retail consumers will be calculated yearly basis and credited to the consumer's electricity bill in the month of January of the following year. Interest payment for the bulk supply consumer will be calculated monthly and will be credited to the electricity bill in monthly basis. The PUCSL has approved an annual interest rate of 8.93% for the security deposits for the year 2017, effective from 1st of January. The consumers can make complaints to the respective licensees when they encounter any issues related to obtaining interest. The Department of Census and Statistics says the year-on-year inflation for January has picked up to 5.5%. The inflation was 4.5% in December 2016. The upward price revision in food group and non-food group was the main reason for the upward movement in the inflation. The Consumer Price Index is compiled to indicate average changes in the prices of goods and services purchased by households in urban areas of Colombo district. Prices for items in the Colombo Consumer Price Index are collected from 14 selected centers located in Colombo in order to calculate the inflation. Let's take a look at stocks after this break. Welcome back. The trading at the Colombo Stock Exchange ended in a negative note today due to price losses in counters such as Carson Cumberbatch, Ceylon Coal Stores and Ceylon Tobacco Company. The all-share price index shed 7.86 points to close at 6,132.68 and S&P SL 20 index dropped by 3.31 points to close the session at 3,489.61. The turnover was rupees 1.6 billion and 54 million shares were traded. Crossings were witnessed in Dunamis Capital, John Keys Holdings, Commercial Bank and Asiri Hospitals Holdings. Mixed interest was observed in TJ Lanka whilst retail's interest was noted in Mestacorp Limited. Meanwhile, foreigners remained active, closing as net sellers. Total foreign sales accounted for 67% of turnover. Let's take a look at today's forex rates. Thank you for watching State of Business. See you tomorrow at the same time. Till then, take care. Good night.